Welcome to Learning Life Skills Together. This is our weekly community Zoom meeting where our guests help us to go deeper into the 4 life skills and open up a huge array of chances to practice them. Hello, everyone. This is Learning Life Skills Together community meeting on Zoom, number 108. And I'm here with William Osei, who's the director of outpatient and partial hospitalization programs at the Horsham Clinic. And I am hoping that you are going to see, as he and I talk, how what his work is and what the work of the Horsham Clinic is connects directly to what we're doing with learning life skills together, not only in what the skills are, but in kind of how we want to put them out there. So before we get into all that, we always do a practice to get ourselves settled in and ready to listen and to think clearly. So if you've taken any part of the course, you know the stop practice. So if you don't know it, you'll learn it. If you do, it'll brush up your skill. So the S in stop is to stop. So is it possible where you are just to put a pause in things? Just come a little more towards quiet. And so the next suggestion, the T, is to take a step back from the way things are right now. And maybe even doing that by taking a breath. So why don't we do both those T's? We'll take the step back and we'll take a breath. So taking a deeper breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And actually that felt pretty good. So I think I'd like to do another one. So let's just breathe in through the nose and okay. And so we have est, we have T, and so we're gonna O now. So check in, observe what's going on where you are, both on the outside, what is happening in the environment where you are. And then you might check on the inside, what's happening inside you, what's happening in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your bodily feelings. Our emotions are feelings in our bodies. So observing what you've got there. And then we can get to the part that begins with P, which is to proceed. So by proceeding, I'm going to proceed to a question for William. And so how was this for you to stop for a minute and just take stock?
Felt really, really good. Especially, getting to the end of the day, you need to calm yourself down and regroup. So it felt really, really good
Yeah.
to stop.
Great. And I'm hoping that's how it works for the people listening here. And if it doesn't, you can take another couple of breaths and check in again. So great. So William, so that people can understand what it is that the Horsham Clinic does and how it connects with the essentially the mental health of youth, because that's what's in our sights here. So maybe
Right.
you could talk a little.
So the Horsham Clinic is a 206 bed facility, inpatient facility. And we also have four partial programs, three of them for child adolescents.
Mm,
And we have 69 beds for children as young as 4 years old
hmm
to 18 years old. So a lot of our focus is on the child adolescent population
yeah.
and working with their families. One of the things that we focus on is because we believe that almost everyone who comes into especially with the youth, there's trauma. And
Mm,
so we are a trauma-based behavioral health facility, focusing on dealing with kids and families with trauma.
hmm
Um, there are two things in the outpatient programs, um, especially in the partial program. There are two things that we focus on. And one is stabilization. When the kids come into the partial program, we are trying to prevent them from going inpatient.
mm,
So our focus is stabilizing them and then having them go back home with appropriate services for the kids and the families. And then the second leg of the outpatient and partial programs is when kids are coming from inpatient to come to the partial program for further stabilization before they actually go back home and back to school. And
right.
we work very, very closely with the schools and other agencies to make this effective.
Yeah. Okay. So there's even, prevention in what you are doing with kids who have shown some, I don't know, symptoms, or however we want to think about that, have shown the need to have more care.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
So
Uh,
so when you're doing that, I mean, our program, Learning Life Skills, is based on these four skills. And we see them as things that are, essential for us to live, a really thriving life.
nice.
And that as adults, we have the skills, as successful adults. You really can't get away with not being able to do these things, to pay attention and understand what's happening around you and what's
Yeah.
happening within you, and being able to work with your feelings so that you can move on from them, go on and help others, and then to get through the tough times, to get through the times that are a struggle for us all. And then finally to be able to, and this is how we put the skill of effective communication. We say to be able to say what it is that you need and
Yes.
communicate that clearly. And, so many kids, I think, struggle with being able to do that.
That is absolutely correct. Correct. And one of the things we teach here at the clinic, both with the staff and with the children we serve, is that there are many forms of communication.
Hmm.
And so even when a kid is acting out, he is trying to communicate
Yes.
something.
Yes.
And as adults, we need to teach the kid that what are the correct forms, if I can put it in that way,
Yeah.
or what are the best forms of
Yes.
communicating their needs rather than acting out. And so we try and model that with the to the children that we serve by maintaining our own control,
Yes.
even when the communication is directed at us, and showing the kids that there's a better way of communicating. So every day in the programs, we're basically modeling good communication and how to communicate not just with us but with their parents.
Yes, absolutely. And so this is what we're working towards with the parents as well, for the parents to be using that skill. We don't say that the parents teach the skills to the kids. We say that they share them, and sharing them is exactly what you've just said, is to do that, to be that way. Something that I left out of my description there of how we think about it, as being able to say what it is that you need and make yourself clear. And the other thing is that the advanced form of that is to know what the other person needs too, or at least
Yeah.
to have a guess at that. And I think that's so tied into what you're talking about there, with the kids seeing it over and over again.
Over
So
again,
if we
yeah.
can say, I think that what's going on with you is this, am I right? And so how do you say that kind of thing with, parent to child, or carer to child, and your
Child.
staff are carers. And so the child gets that sense. Yeah, that's a fabulous way of thinking about it, is that so much depends on that. It sounds like in your work. And so the other skills show up as well, I'm guessing. So that one of paying attention to what's happening around you and how that makes you feel.
Right.
And especially on the trauma side of things, I'm thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
And we tap into that every day, several times a day. And when they first come in, one of the things that we discuss with the kids when they come in is how they are feeling,
Mm.
what's going on, what happened um, before they came in, what happened the night before they come into the program, and whether they need help with processing something that may have caused some dysregulation. We tap into, we try and make it child friendly. So we're not asking the children, whether you're suicidal or anything like
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. We
yeah.
we kind of say to them things like on a scale. We use that for the older kids, and for the younger kids, we have smiley faces
Ah,
that they will circle, if they are feeling sad, they will circle a smiley, the sadness. If they're feeling happy, they will circle the happy. And then at the end of the day, after they've gone through the program day, we repeat them. Do you
ah,
feel better, worse, or the same? And so most of the time we get either the same or better, and then we process that before they go home for the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's see. So the next one is this emotion regulation piece. And one of the things that we talk about particularly is the fact that we are co-regulated. So the people that are with us are helping us
Helping, right?
regulate ourselves. And again, just from what you've said, I'm imagining that there's a lot of that happens just sort of naturally in your programs. And
Yeah.
and is that spoken of? Is that made evident to the kids, or is it just something that's in the background?
No, it's made evident to the kids. Um, a good example, about maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, a kid came to me and expressed his frustration at one of the staff members, and we sat down and talked about it. And I told the young man that, something happened to me and I'm a little frustrated. So I said, why don't we go to the gym and let's scream together? And so no one was in the gym. And then we both went to the gym, and he says to me, Mr. William, are you going to scream? I said, yeah, I'm going to scream because I want to let it all out. And so I just started screaming, and he started screaming, and we screamed some more for a couple of minutes. And then afterwards, I said, so how do you feel now? He said, oh, I'm feeling much, much better. I think, it just helped me let it all out. But he said, I can't scream at home. And I said, yeah, you can't scream at home like we just screamed in the gym, but you can scream into your pillow so that you're not letting
Yeah.
anybody hear. So yeah, we do that, those type of
Hmm.
things
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So emotion regulation is a lot of what they're there to learn.
to learn.
And
Yeah,
yeah. And so we're teaching it from a preventive point of view. So we're not saying, wait until your kid is having, a problem to
problem. Yeah.
to start to do these things. We're saying you know, let's do this noticing how we're feeling and being able to work with it, like by taking 3 deep breaths or doing something like
Hmm.
that. Just in a very easygoing way. And so is it harder to teach the kids who sort of
It
don't have those
depends.
skills?
It depends. We have a whole range of kids, and we have our medical director, for instance, has someone on the inpatient unit, and every morning, she goes to see this patient, and they go for a walk and they
Mm,
just talk. We have almost a 60-acre campus here.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so they just go around talking about things, and they talk about, if you're upset on the unit, this is what you can do, things like that. And then on before they go back to the unit, she takes the young lady to the cafeteria, and they sit down, and she has an iced coffee and decaf. And the doctor is also drinking her coffee.
Yeah.
And, and so they talk about a wide, and she teaches or shows the young lady what she can do to improve on her regulation, and
Yeah.
especially when she gets frustrated. And it's had a remarkable effect on this young lady,
Mm.
doing very well.
Wonderful story. And, making use of one of our recommended activities, walking. And so it strikes me that one of the really amazing advantages in sharing, teaching, whatever we want to call it, while walking, and even while possibly, depending on how you're sitting, while drinking iced coffee, um, would be that you're side by side and not across from each other. And so
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
not a confrontation. It's not a I'm
Yeah.
here, you're there. It's a we
No.
together. And
Right.
that's part of our name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learning life skills together. So, that just we can walk, it has a rhythm, we can walk and talk, or we can not talk for a while.
Talk.
And that whole sort of flow that we get in walking from doing something physical, is just opens all kinds of possibilities.
Possibilities.
And it's
Yes.
also good for us.
It's also good
To
for
be
us.
moving.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the central thing that we all struggle with, adults, kids alike, is getting through the tough times in our
Yeah.
lives. When we can learn, I can take 3 deep breaths and feel a little better, and I can move on with my day for something that's small. And for something that's bigger, how do I get through, this time? I'm going to wake up and it's still going to be there. That's hard for all of us. And to
Yes. Yeah.
have things that we can do to give ourselves a break from it while we work on it, and try to get it to where it's fixed and workable for us. We need those breaks, and we need them to be ones that really help us. And so, this idea of, getting through those moments, like, well, screaming into your pillow is kind of one of those things that one can do when one needs it to take a break. And what we talk about with it is, what are those positive things that we can do that let us feel like we have something to contribute to the world, that we have an effect on our world, because often when we're in those situations, we don't feel like we matter, and we don't feel like,
Right.
anything is
Yeah.
happening. So
And
I'm wondering how that plays out. In
yeah, that's a really good segment, if I can put it that way, into some of the things we do to promote not just self-awareness, but what the kids can do. If you walk around our program, it is filled with artwork, for instance, that the kids
mm,
have done. And a lot of the kids are extremely talented. And we have reached out to the schools and to things. We had a corporate meeting here some time ago, and the kids chose some of their pictures that were framed and were hung on the wall so that these visitors from our corporate office could see what they are.
mm,
And it was really, really uplifting for the kids. We also have music therapy. And apart from formal music therapy, we have art staff who are musicians. And so, actually, as part of engaging with the kids, show them how to play the guitar and
oh
things like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
as a way of joining. And so they will be showing the kids chords and things like that. We engage with them, those kids that like to dance. There's movement
Mm.
therapy that we do, and the kids often take the lead, not the
Yeah.
adults. We let the kids, choose the type of music they want to be playing, talk about the type of music, um, and the teachers sometimes would have, especially around this time of year. They do poetry and things so that kids can express themselves in writing or otherwise. And so there's quite a lot of things we do to help the kids express themselves, and they take
Yeah.
pride in what they do.
Yeah. And so that's really, the making that we talk about, can be anything, and making a drawing, or, undertaking to learn to play a song on the guitar or the piano or whatever. These are the things that take us out of ourselves for a little while and give us that break. And also let us make something that is us, that is
Us.
so our identity can come out and people can see it, and we can feel accepted and feel like we matter in the world. It's such an important thing, you know in your program, incredibly important. In our program, it's a part of how, we think everybody should be, that we should all have, you know, uh, uh, these things that we do. Some of us are lucky enough that we do it for a living, and that's a point that we kind of try to make to the parents, is that it may be that, yeah, your child is really talented, really good at this, but it doesn't mean that if they're not, that they don't get to do that
You
thing, and
do
that they
that.
shouldn't
Yes.
be encouraged,
Encouraged.
at the same time.
Right.
Um, so it's really, just a whole huge area, and such a healthy area, again, like going for a walk, being in nature, making things, and knowing that you can do something
You
that
can do something. Yeah.
changes your world, literally, is just such a great feeling, among other things, for the kids. And so the final one is this sense of belonging, that goes along with being able to be yourself and to say what it is that you need. And I always say that the second part of being able to say what you need is being able to understand what the other person needs too, because then you got a leg up on the negotiations,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, how that part of it works, that expressive, that saying what you need.
Yeah. Um, that is, perhaps maybe the most important thing that we try and
Yeah.
get the kids to say. We encourage each of them to express themselves, and we tell them that you don't have to express yourself in words. You can express yourself in writing, in a picture. It doesn't really matter as long as you're expressing yourself. And we also let them know that we will listen
Yes.
because there's no point in them telling us how they feel if we are not going to listen and then act upon
Yeah. Yeah.
what they say. And so, we also try and teach staff and let staff know that they are there primarily for the kids. And
Yes.
so, even if they are not, happy with what the kids are saying, they have to listen. And, oftentimes by just listening and, working through with the kids what they're talking to them about, it actually helps the staff to understand their children better. And then they come to some sort of amicable agreement. Eventually, it's almost as if they settle into some sort of homeostasis, at the end of just
Yeah.
by talking. And we had one staff member. She is an art therapist, and what she would sometimes do is if a kid is upset or deregulated, they would talk through art. So she will draw how she feels and say that, well, this is what I'm feeling. And then the kid will draw what they feel. And then she will encourage the kids to explain what they talk. And then that leads to the kid actually opening up because
Yeah.
she feels or he feels or they feel safe in order to be able to express themselves. So we try our best to make sure that or every kid knows that their clinician, their program manager, the doctors all have an open door policy that they can come and talk to any of. If one person's not there, there's always somebody there that they can
Mm,
sit down
yeah.
and express themselves
Yeah.
to, and then we will listen.
Yeah. And so on the non-clinical side, that's really what we're shooting for when we talk about belonging, and finding the places where the child can belong, where they can be themselves and
Right,
talk to everybody about what it is that they need and not be turned away or, you know,
right,
pushed into something that they didn't want.
right. And we try and identify someone on the outside. It could be a
Mm,
grandmother, a grandfather,
uh,
at school, a particular teacher or where the kid feels safe to go and express themselves as well. Yeah,
yeah, so important. So, well, all of this is just tremendously important, and it's wonderful to be able to go through it with you and to talk about it. And now, I didn't tell you that I was going to do this, so maybe I'm catching you at a good moment though, because our talk has been really deep. Um, I always ask the guest for a few words of wisdom or a watchword, which could be just one word, to sort of help us wrap things up and give us something to tie our thoughts to as we move on through our day.
move on. That's you know, Doctor, I come from Ghana. With the I'm an Ashanti, which is the Akan ethnic group in Ghana. And one of the in Akan philosophy, you may have heard of this before. There are symbols called the Adinkra symbols. And one of my favorite symbol is the Sankofa. And Sankofa is a bird that is looking backwards.
Oh,
And what it means, literally, Sankofa means go back and take it. So, I encourage, we are in the present, but if we don't go back and learn from the past, we may never be able to move forward.
mm,
So, if or, it can also mean that go back and take what is good from the past so that you can use it in the present. So I think that's what I will leave you with.
wow. That is very powerful. I can see why that has been around for a very long time.
Long time, yes.
Yeah, so a bird looking backwards. Wow.
Right.
I
That's the
I have
symbol
that
is a
image in my head now.
yeah, the
Yeah.
symbol is a bird looking backwards. Yes.
Well, William, this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for talking with us. And I would look forward to talking with you again sometimes. I think that sometime there's a lot to be learned between our two organizations. So
Yes, and you're always welcome to pay us a visit. Just let us know, and we'll be happy to show you around.
terrific. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.